Animal Well is the product of 7 long years of development by solo game developer Billy Basso. Moreover, it's the first game published by Big Mode, an indie publisher founded by prominent gaming community figure Dunkey and his wife Leah. Animal Well aims to capture our hearts by providing an experience of mystery, wonder, and what the
Ad friendly.
Join us as we proceed with caution into Billy Basso's strange world of Animal Well. You start as this tiny little dude asleep in a flower until you're prompted to wake up. We don't really know who or what our little dude is. Are we dust? Pollen? Seed? Well, that's for game theory to decide. In fact, the entire story of this game is probably up to game theory and all the other theory crafting YouTubers to find out. Whatever story this game has, if it even has one, is buried under its very subtle environmental storytelling. There's definitely some world building to unpack here for all those interested in digging deeper into what Animal Well initially presents. What do these 4 animals mean? Why do they have statues dedicated to them? Why are there cats in cages? What's up with the ghosts? Maybe someone will put the pieces together at some point, but for now, they stand there waiting for an eager community to uncover their mystery. But what all these background elements do accomplish is create an ambiance of something somewhat uneasy and unfamiliar. Although the Steam page doesn't list it as such, it's because of this notion of uneasiness that you can argue that Animal Well is a little bit of a horror game. There's this constant tension of not knowing where you should be headed and not knowing what lies ahead. It builds a world where you don't know who is friend or foe. The horror aspect of Animal Well isn't delivered through a specific scary monster that lurks around the corner, although there is that thing. Nor is it the tension created from expecting a jump scare. Its horror is focused on the prevalent and unsettling unknownness of it all. All this is conveyed through the eerie silence. A creepy silence that tells more than any lengthy exposition cutscene ever could. You're thrown into the game without any kind of introduction or tutorial. You're just expected to navigate through the dark cave and somehow figure out what you're supposed to be doing there along the way. As the developer and Steam describe it, it's a Metroidvania. However, the big difference between it and a majority of other Metroidvanias is that Animal Well has no combat. In place of combat, they implemented numerous puzzles throughout the map to overcome. In order to solve the puzzles throughout Animal Well's dungeon, cave, various tools are scattered around for you to find. These tools are versatile and can be used in very creative ways. As we mentioned, there are no tutorials or introductions, and it's the same when you pick up one of these tools. When you pick these tools up, testing them out and experimenting with how they interact with the environment is the only way you can learn how to make use of them. Because of the multifunctionality of your tools, they open the player up to the many ways of solving a problem or puzzle that's in your way. For anyone who likes to have those brain juices flowing, this game has more than enough puzzles to keep you occupied for those roughly 8 to 10 hours of main gameplay. On top of that, the multiple answers to these puzzles will ensure that most players would have a fairly unique approach to the game as well. And then, on top of that, the developer is very confident that some puzzles are hard to recognize and may even go unsolved or undiscovered for a long time without a whole community effort to look for them. So even though you have finished the main game, there's still much to discover in the mysterious world of Animal Well beyond the first 8 or so hours of gameplay. Some puzzles, however, are real head-scratchers, and if you're someone who isn't really into puzzle games and only wants to experience the unique atmosphere of this game, it might get a little frustrating at times. While there may not be any combat, you will find yourself being chased around or attacked by animals and entities. The genius of Animal Well is that at first glance, it's hard to tell which animals will be a hindrance to your progress and which ones are just there, being animals. This contributes to the uneasiness that we mentioned earlier. It creates a natural suspicion of anything and everything, and it really contributes to that feeling of anxiety as you move around the environment. Animal Well's polish is probably its strongest point. The graphics and sound design pair well with the setting to create Animal Well's unique vibe. The pixel art graphics of the game are both beautiful and also unsettling. The animals' designs do an amazing job of skirting the border between familiarity and monstrosity. The level designs also do a fantastic job of using color and lighting to induce a certain feeling or mood. The use of lighting, or lack thereof, proved to be an effective tool in instilling a sense of caution in the player, a sense of caution that would and should stick with them throughout the duration of the game. There are also various environments that Animal Well presents to the player. Some areas are more cavernous and natural, some are more man-made with various machinery that the player can utilize. Some background elements would even trigger pareidolia, or a person's tendency to find faces where there shouldn't be, adding to the eeriness of the game. The audio supports the graphics and setting, and further unifies all these aspects together to form the unique atmosphere that Animal Well wants to create. For most of the game, there is no background music. It's just the sound of you jumping around and environmental sounds like far-off animal cries, rustling of shrubbery, the sound of running water, and so on. This silence is occasionally broken by the ambient background music that plays when you're in the vicinity of a save point or when something changes. The silence outside of environmental sounds masterfully enhances that feeling of uncanny loneliness present throughout the game. On a side note, if you're playing on a PS5 or simply using a PS5 controller on PC, Animal Well uses the amazing haptics found in the PS5 controller to add to your experience of the game. The controller gives you a light haptic tickle when you pass through grass, rhythmically vibrates left and right when you climb up ladders, and more. While we haven't played on the Switch, it does make us wonder if that version of the game utilizes the unique haptic capabilities of the Joy-Cons as well. It's a nice touch that adds another sensory means of experiencing the game. Big things come in small packages, as they say. Animal Well is a game that's only around 30-ish megabytes in size and only roughly 10 hours of main game playtime, but it delivers an experience that trumps some games with bigger file sizes and longer playtimes. The file size isn't the only thing that's small too. Animal Well comes at a humble price of $25 US, and if you're getting it on Steam, it's cheaper as there's an introductory offer if you purchase it before May 24th. Animal Well is an indie masterpiece that skillfully uses its setting, gameplay, and audio visuals to deliver mystery, fear, and wonder all in a tiny bite-sized little package. So, we're giving Animal Well a solid 9.2. It's amazing that a solo developer was able to make a game of this quality. Dunkey found such a great game to kick off his game publishing career. Big Mode has already listed another game that they're planning to publish, and well, now we're dying to find out what that game has in store for us as well. So what do you think of Animal Well? Do you agree with our score? Tell us in the comments. Like if you like, subscribe for more video game reviews and other video game related content. This is GameAid, and we'll see you next time.